Good evening, Vegas sports fans. I'm Rob Heffner, a.k.a. Vegas Rob, and I'm with my co-host here, Ken Frie. And how's it going, Ken?
It's going pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
We're entering our last round of cuts here on Tuesday. They have to cut down to the 53-man roster, so it's going to get interesting and possibly get a little dicey now.
Every year it gets a bit squirrely. You know what I mean? Like there's always those surprises you don't see coming, and there's the ones that you expect, kinda. So it's gonna get squirrely.
Yeah. Speaking of a cut that kind of surprised me a little bit because they invested, so much into him and had such big expectations when they released Kenron, Drake. That, that surprised me a little bit because, and they had invested a large, deal of money into him too. So that was the shocker cut that I saw, last week. But honestly, it's to be expected with the running back room the way it was, coming into camp.
Well, and from what I read online and stuff, Kenyon Drake said that he wasn't too surprised. He said he could not figure out how he fit into the running back room. He said it's just like they weren't really giving him any looks during practices. They weren't really paying him much attention. So, I mean, take that for what you will. But I guess some people were surprised by Amir Abdullah and stuff like that. And Britton Brown, the Raiders, I'm not sure what round that was, a 6th or 7th round draft pick as a running back. He looked, pretty good so far. I feel in the preseason, as well as Zamir White. He was a little bit more of a higher draft pick, but still, he's looked really, really well. So yeah, I guess you kind of see the writing on the wall as a veteran. He's going to get picked up somewhere, and he'll be fine. If not, like he said, the Raiders are still going to pay him. So
right, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Zamir White, he really emerged, in this camp. And we know that Jacobs is, set to make the team, and we knew with White stepping up that he's definitely going to be in there, be in the mix. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jacobs and White at number 1 and number 2, and then with Britton Brown, and then of course
Brandon Bolden.
Yeah, Brandon Bolden.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Brandon Bolden. Have you? Like, no, I think the first preseason game he got a couple catches, but I haven't really since then. It's been all Zamir White and Britton Brown.
Yeah, he really hasn't done a whole lot, like you said, with the exception of those, couple of catches. But he is a McDaniels guy. He brings a veteran, leadership into the locker room, like we've discussed on many shows before. So what do you think about Abdullah? You think he's going to make it, or you think he's going to be one of the ones that's going to be cut here?
Well, so if you would ask me, like, well, we did talk about this a few weeks ago, Rob.
Right.
We figured he was gone. He wasn't going to get, he's just there as an extra back, to take some carries and stuff. But I you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he did make it now. Just the way he got more touches, he got more attention. He hasn't done it terrible, so.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
if you look at the list of running backs that we have right now, he would be the one that I would cut. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him. It's not going to be shocking to me if they keep him or if they even cut him. Like
Well,
he's like kind of on the fence for me.
and yeah, he is that kind of on the fence player, but he has he's done enough to at least earn a second look.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
In the world of sports, things change from day to day. They change from week to week. So yeah, this Tuesday, August 30th, is going to be the big cut down day. So
Yeah.
by 4 p.m. your time, 1 p.m. my time out here, we're going to know what these final cuts are going to look like and what this 53 man roster is going to look like.
It's always exciting, and like I said, it's always interesting because there's always a few surprises in there.
Sure, definitely. So I'm looking forward to cut down day and seeing who we keep, who we cut, and the Raiders have been pretty impressive during the preseason. I know we don't take much into these preseason games, but the Raiders have gone undefeated in the preseason, and they looked pretty damn good against the Patriots last night. And also keep in mind with the game last night, we didn't really have to use any of our starters, and our backups looked pretty damn good against the Patriots starters. So the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, they aren't what they used to be.
No, and then it's also preseason, and the kind of vanilla. Bill's not going to let the cat out of the bag, in the preseason. But this is the first time the Raiders ever went undefeated in a preseason. Also 4-0. Take that for what you will. I don't put much stock into that. It doesn't really matter. It's just it's just a thing. But I felt like our backups were really, really good, and the Patriots played their starters for probably most of the first half. I think they had quite a few starters in. We ended up with with our backups, we ended up with 4 sacks. The only thing I didn't like, Rob, was we let a lot of rushing yards up, a high yard per carry. I'm not sure exactly what the yard per carry was, like 6 or 7, 8 yards per carry, something like that. That's too high. We're going to face some teams that can really, really run the ball, and that's not very good. But the 4 sacks was nice. A couple of interceptions was really nice. Especially for us, our takeaways, have been awful the last couple of seasons. So if we can get start taking the ball away, I think it's gonna be a lot better, for our defense.
And everybody was pumped up about the joint practices, with the Patriots this week. You turned on the news here, and I mean that's all they really talked about. And Belichick, they interviewed Belichick actually, and he had toured the Raiders facility, and he was really talking good about it, saying it's like one of the best NFL facilities he's ever been to. He had a little bit of a bromance going with Dana White, the owner of the UFC. They put the UFC belt on him. So yeah, I mean it was definitely something to see. And when it came to the actual practices, from what I read and what I've listened to on the radio and what I watched on the news, I'm still trying to work on those press credentials to get out there one of these days.
They're waiting for your mayoral candidacy to go through first.
Right. But yeah, the practices seem to be a good tool for McDaniels to kind of use as a measuring stick, maybe to see where this, maybe to see where we're at in certain areas. We're going to be very good, and we're going to be okay. But one of the things that still kind of scares the hell out of me, Ken, is this offensive line. Here we are a week away, September 11th, the season against the Chargers, and like the offensive line still isn't solidified.
Yeah, and it's been a big bummer. I mean, we've let up quite a few sacks, a ton of pressures. It's been really, I don't want to say upsetting, but it hasn't been good at all. And I guess with Colton Miller hasn't played much. I don't even know if he played at all this preseason. To be honest with you, that's the Raiders' top left tackle. So I don't think he really played at all.
I don't think I've seen him.
And if I was Josh McDaniels, you're not playing Carr, you're not playing your top guys. I wouldn't even put Colton Miller in. He's your best offensive lineman far and away. He's going to be a Pro Bowler and stuff like that. He's one of the better ones in the league right now. But besides that, it's been a cluster muck. You know what I mean? It's been really, really bad. And we're hearing rumors and stuff like that about our Leatherwood and stuff like that. What's going to happen with him? Are they going to release him? Are they going to trade him? Who knows what's going to happen? Paul Spencer checks in. He says, "Welcome to Battle Line Club. We have one true starter, Zach Martin. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys also. Offensive line's a premium, man. They're hard to come by. A great offensive line, and I said this a couple episodes ago, Rob. It takes sometimes if you get a lot of mediocre offensive linemen together and you let them gel over a couple of weeks of the season, which is hard to do because that could lead to some injuries or losses. But if you let them work together and gel over time, over a few weeks, it makes them stronger, makes them better than what they normally are. But I think they're going to have to go outside and find some guys here.
Well, yeah, I mean, and two, it kind of scares me when we say, take a couple of weeks to get them to gel, because when we're opening up the season against the LA Chargers, a team that you and I have both agreed on that they're probably going to win this division. I mean,
but that their defensive line is not going to feel sorry for our offensive line.
No, they're not.
They're stacked on defense, especially the front seven with a Khalil Mack and the brother with the big nose. What's his name? Bosa.
Oh yeah,
Bosa there. Yeah. So they're if we don't get our stuff together here, it's not going to be a good day.
It could be a very, very long, very long day.
For Derek Carr, absolutely.
I might have to stock up on some extra Jameson for that one.
You're gonna have to stock up, absolutely. So yeah, it could get ugly. It could get ugly fast. Linda Duarte checking in. Hello, Linda. How you doing?
Yeah, hello, Linda. How you doing? What's the movie of the week this week, or the show of the week?
Oh, is that Linda? Linda,
the movie of the week? Linda's a big movie person, a big Netflix person. So,
gotcha.
Hey, it's always good to communicate with our fans and get an idea what's on their mind too. And it doesn't always have to necessarily be sports, but
hey, we're out of the box, right? We're out of the box sports. So Paul Spencer checks in. He says Bosa and Mack on the edges are a nightmare for any team. Absolutely, especially any team that's not shored up, defensively, because they'll move them around. They'll stunt them and stuff like that. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
So with the Raiders' offensive line, James Cotton, he's kind of come out of nowhere out of guard, and so hopefully he solidifies that spot a little bit. Our center's solidified. It's just that right side, right tackle, right guard. It's going to be hard. Linda says, "I'm hoping to get my daughter to watch Moana instead of Encanto." I love Moana. I mean, Moana's awesome with The Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, well, yeah. Anything with The Rock is going to be good. I don't think I've ever watched anything with The Rock that's been bad.
No, everything, pretty much everything with The Rock is really, really good. Adam Glenn checking in. What's up? Roll Tide. Yeah, our alma mater got smoked, man.
They weren't rolling last night, man.
Well, I'll tell you, they played Jersey Shore, and Jersey Shore is one of the top ranked teams in the state for high school football. So Yeah, I think, and they also got, I believe, Wyomissing next week, and Wyomissing's a top-ranked team also. I think Wyomissing went to the state finals, and Jersey Shore, where it was in the semifinals. I'm not sure which classification, though, but still, they got smoked pretty well last night.
Yeah, but believe it or not, being 2,400 miles away from Pottsville, I still listen to the Pottsville football broadcast on a Friday night.
I'll tell you what, I like those guys on AM 1360. You know,
yeah.
I like them. I think they do a good job at the play-by-play.
And occasionally good old JP, aka John Powers, gets on, and every time John Powers is on, all I got to do is send a text message to Eric Rissmiller. I let Eric Rissmiller know all the time I'm listening out here in Vegas. And when JP does the broadcast, I get shout outs and stuff all the time. So
there you go.
yeah. So, how about you? Did you go to any high school games last night?
No, I did not. What did we do? We went to I was at the Reading Phillies. It was the Reading Phils, the Fightins against the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the Mets AA affiliate.
Oh, okay.
Paul says go Prep, road to Hershey Park.
Yeah,
they lost today too. Prep. I seen that the schedule that you had posted on Facebook, Paul, with the first 4 games being straight out of hell. Holy Christ, unbelievable! But yeah, I went to the game last night. It was the softball team that I coached, a travel softball team, the Not Your Average Danes. We had a group outing there last night. It was a lot of fun. It was a good game, 3-1. The Rumble Ponies won. I got to scream "Let's go Mets" a whole bunch of times and act silly. I actually got my Twitter handle for the Bat Cave out there on the big board. So hey,
oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
nice.
So it's right around the corner. It's probably autograph signings in no time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, your show, the Bat Cave, that's a hell of a show. I mean, I watch every episode of that religiously. Even as a Phillies fan, from a baseball standpoint, and an A's fan, it's always good to get another perspective. And
absolutely,
you certainly do a hell of a show. So any Mets fans out there, and I know some Mets fans, give my brother Ken Frie a look, and check out the show, hitting like those subscribe buttons, and you'll know whenever we go live, with anything.
Yep, yeah, hit that subscribe button, like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, the Twitter, the old Twitter machine. Get it on there, man.
So we talk about the right tackle situation, and Leatherwood, they had very high expectations from him when they drafted him out of the first round in 2021, and it's kind of been up and down, but as a whole, he's kind of been a disappointment. So, what do you do with a guy like that that's not progressing the way you want? Do you let him walk? Do you try to trade him? Do we try to keep him and hope that he develops? What are your thoughts on that? And then 2, who would we possibly want to potentially trade him to? And would we be able to get a player or players of equal value, for him, because obviously this is a concern, that we're having going into the season, and it's a very big concern, at this point.
Well, so it's not going to be. I don't think we're going to be able to trade him. And we picked up his first round draft pick, and when we drafted him, so many people said he was a reach. He's a reach. He shouldn't be drafted there. He probably would have been there later in the draft. It was a reach, but it's been so disappointing. Paul Spencer says Dallas definitely needs him. Yeah, we could send him to Dallas. That's fine. He could be their headache, I guess. He was one of the worst rated offensive tackles last year, and then they moved him to guard, and it got a little bit better. But you draft a guy at tackle, you want him to play tackle. He's going to be one of your bookend guys, and it's not. I don't think if they do keep him, it's not going to happen. They're going to have to move him. It reminds me a lot of a few years ago, Robert Gallery. Remember Robert Gallery was a Raider pick, a first round pick.
Yep.
Again, it was a reach. I think that was he a first overall pick, Rob, or like first 5 somewhere?
Honestly, I don't remember, but I think
I feel like he was like 1 or 2, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was drafted. I think he was drafted pretty high.
And he was getting slaughtered at tackle, so they moved him to guard, and he did better. But it's just that's not what you drafted him for. So they ended up shipping him off to Seattle, and he played there for a couple of years, and I think he moved around a little bit more. But honestly, I know I wanted Leatherwood to work because I thought he could be a good player. He started off this preseason, the first game, playing well, but ever since the second game, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And to be honest with you, he's allowed the most pressures so far this preseason, I read.
Yeah,
so, I mean, you're not going to trade him. Nobody's going to trade for him. If you do get something, you're not getting a first round pick. Obviously, you might get if you're lucky, you're going to get like a 2027 7th round pick or something stupid like that.
And it'll be one of those conditional picks. You know, that there'll be some kind of conditional situation attached to it.
We'll be lucky if we get a jar of magic beans or something like that. We'll be lucky if we get that. So you're better off just cutting them. Paul says Gallery was a second pick overall. Yeah, I knew it was like 1 or 2 somewhere around there, and it was really, really bad. And so yeah, with Leatherwood being a first round pick, they're going to have to cut him. Release him, cut him or whatever.
I don't see the Raiders trading him for anything.
No.
Honestly. Hell, we probably couldn't trade the man for a hoagie and a 6-pack of Yingling at this point.
No, right now you can't. No, it's that's not with the pressures he's giving up. No.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be in the starting line for McCann School of Business right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's if you know, you know.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, they're gonna have to cut him, and he'll pick up somewhere because he is young. And, he is fairly athletic for his size. He came into camp this year. He trimmed down a little bit. Reportedly, he's been working at his position, before, coming into the preseason. But, I mean, obviously it's not working out. So he's going to have to think about a position change or he's just not going to play. He'll get picked up, as an extra body somewhere, but he's just not going to play if he's not going to be willing to switch positions. And even then, I don't know if it'll work out for him. Some people it just doesn't work out. You're just a backup. You rotate in, and that's all you are, which isn't bad. Paul Spencer said, "I think he's perfect next to Zach Martin to learn." Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's what I was hoping with Colton Miller. I was hoping that maybe they bring him on, let Colton Miller, who's a couple years with the Raiders now, was drafted by the Raiders. Let him learn off of Colton, but it's just not. For whatever reason, again, a new regime too, Rob. That's working against them. Who knows if Chucky was there, if Leatherwood would still be in the mix. Who knows?
Well, speaking of Chucky, man, they were really bashing him this week on sports radio here. After they cut Drake. They said that was another Gruden move. He and if he was still in control, he would have continued to set this franchise back. Yeah, they were not friendly towards Chucky this week.
How are you setting them back by picking up Kenyon Drake? I thought he filled in great. I mean, honestly, Rob, he's a good change of pace. When Jacobs went out hurt, I thought he filled in nice, but then he got hurt.
Well,
I mean, what was not to like about him?
Well, yeah, and I don't think it was never the same for Drake after his injury because he could never come back and play to that level. And then too in training camp, he just couldn't seem to find his spot here.
He was definitely like the way he said he was the guy outside looking in, and he knew it right away. He could not figure out where he would fit into the scheme. So I mean, it is what it is. But I just don't know how that's Gruden's fault.
I mean to sit here and listen to that, listen to them criticize Gruden over that. I had a WTF moment. I'm just sitting here, shaking my head, and I'm like, well, I guess Gruden was one of those guys. you either love him or you hate him.
Yeah, and it's and I guess that he kind of brought that on himself over the years and stuff like that. But I mean, it's as a Raider fan, I'd say most of us probably love him. It's hard to find too many Raider fans that I've heard, like, fans that have really like not liked Gruden. And there's a couple things, not to like about him, but like besides the whole email stuff, like as a football coach, as a football guy, I always liked him. I mean, I had nothing against the guy.
Yeah, I always enjoyed him too. I mean, that he's the reason I became a Raiders fan, and we've had this discussion many times. When he was offensive coordinator in Philly, my dad and I always liked him, and when he was brought on by the Raiders, my dad and I were like, well, we're going to root for the Eagles, and we're rooting for the Raiders too because of Chucky, But I never had a problem with him, and I personally liked him when he was doing the Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job.
I thought he did a real good job, with that. And when he was coming back to the Raiders, I mean, that was like one of the happiest days of my life from a sports standpoint. Being here in Las Vegas in the mix of everything. Yeah. I was hoping to run into him somewhere
at the Tropicana or something. Paul Spencer says, "Are you secure at QB2 being Stidham, and if you keep QB3 Garbers?" I feel good about Stidham. I don't know about you, Rob. Yeah, I thought Stidham has been awesome. Surprisingly,
I think yeah. Surprisingly, he's had a heck of a preseason, and he has shown that he can step in. God forbid Carr goes down, and if we don't solidify this offensive line soon, we might see Stidham. We might see him this season. I mean, I hate to say that, but let's be realistic. We don't sugarcoat things. We're not a bakery here at Out of the Box.
We're not here to tickle your ass. We're here to tell you the truth, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But I mean, I'm very confident with the quarterback situation right now, and I've been a fan of Grabbers all camp too, so I think we're okay with the quarterback position. I expect it. What's his name, Mullen, to be traded. So good luck to him. We'll see what he does in Minnesota. But we kind of knew coming into it that Stidham was going to be the guaranteed number 2, unless something drastic happened, during the preseason, because he's a McDaniels guy.
Yeah. Kimberly Blum checking in saying Gruden for life. Yeah, I know my Aunt Kim there. She's a big Gruden fan. She loves Gruden.
Oh yeah. I even wonder sometimes if he'll possibly get another job in the NFL. I don't.
No way.
He kind of set himself up with the emails and
there was
stuff,
more stuff that I was seeing this week on my Google. My Google was feeding me some information. Instead of me feeding Google information, Google was sending me some stuff about more emails while Gruden was coaching for the Las Vegas Raiders. Some more derogatory emails and stuff like that. I mean, the guy's not even coaching anymore. Why even, like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
honestly. Like, what's the deal here?
I saw that too, and I was even like, yeah, he's not coaching anymore, and even when they were making the comments on the radio about him, it's like they can't get over John Gruden for some reason. They're obsessed, with the whole John Gruden situation. I mean, we got a new era here in town, and it's the McDaniels era. And I wasn't fully supportive of the hire, in the beginning. I think he's on to something here. I honestly think that he is going to turn this team into a contender. I mean, he's got to solidify his offensive line first, but I think we've got pieces on this team where we can win now.
Yeah. Paul Spencer says, I think Raiders and Cowboys are in the same boat. Downfall, the offensive line, otherwise pretty solid. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be both teams, great rosters, a lot of talent, but if their offensive line can't block, what the hell are you going to do? All those pretty weapons out there, it's like having a Ferrari with 4 flat tires. What the hell are you going to do, Rob?
Right, or having a Ferrari with no gas in it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Kimberly Blum says for Gruden, possibly back in the Raiders organization somehow, someday. I could see possibly someday, not with Josh McDaniels coaching right now, but I think I could see it in the future, him being in maybe even broadcasting with the Raiders. You know what I mean? I can't see him ever being welcomed back at ESPN or anything like that. Kimberly Blum also says, could they still be talking about him possibly because he's about to hand the NFL their asses? And absolutely, as a Raider fan, we're all full of conspiracies and stuff like that. The NFL's out to get us. But I'm telling you what, man, you start looking at some stuff, the shit lines up, doesn't it, Rob? I mean, it's like the NFL wanted the Raiders. I can't remember exactly what it was last year. They wanted the Raiders to fire Gruden or to discipline him or something like that over these emails, and they wouldn't. So they said, all right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to make you do it by putting all these emails out there. And so that's what happened. They put all those emails out there. Gruden did this, Gruden did that, because they didn't want Gruden, coaching the Raiders. And it's now Gruden fought back the NFL. The NFL doesn't like it. He started suing them for defamation and stuff. Well, okay. Well, here's more emails. It's like, it's a never-ending story with the NFL and the Raiders.
Yeah,
no matter who it is.
It's definitely been very contentious, and we're gonna see how that's gonna play out. Get your popcorn ready.
Paul Spencer says, damn, I hope they don't find my emails from Pop Warner coaching days. I might be in jail soon. Delete, gotta delete, guys. Delete.
So that's why you hide up there in Johnstown in the woods, Paul.
So with the with Gruden and stuff like that, I think someday he'll be back working with football somehow. I don't see him ever coaching again, but I don't blame any of the moves that we have right now on the team on him. Maybe Alex Leather with like the drafting, but I mean, because I guess from what I heard, he had the majority of the control with the rosters and stuff like that. Right. Over who was our GM? The draft guru.
Mike Mayock.
Yeah, Mayock. So I mean, like you would think he'd let the draft guru do the drafting and do stuff, but from what I heard, Gruden had a final say and control over everything like that. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I could see Gruden being somewhat of a control freak. Absolutely. Just like Paul Spencer's boy Jerry Jones. He's the biggest control freak in the NFL. That guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's when you're rich. Paul says Spider 2Y banana never gets old. Yeah, it gets old when they're coming from the Buccaneers there. Whenever I see that NFL films, it's the Buccaneers do it in the Super Bowl against the Raiders. It makes me want to tear up and cry.
So really, the Raiders have done a good job, finding young, cost-effective talent as well.
Well, they have $20 million in cap space. What are they doing?
Yeah,
unless there's people that they're looking to sign. We have Carr signed. Well, I guess we do have a couple guys where we declined options where we could possibly sign in the offseason. But I mean, we got Carr signed. We have Devontae Adams signed. I mean, so we have money to spend. We can pick some big name people up. But you're right. They have been very cost effective as of late. After that Devontae Adams trade. But that's the guy that you want to shore up for a few years.
Right. Well, definitely they've made some good moves at linebacker that could really pan out, like Luke Masterson, Darian Butler, and then at cornerback, Sam Webb. So I'm interested to see how those guys guys pan out,
Well,
because
Masterson's had a pretty good preseason. I think
yeah,
I've seen him flying around. I haven't watched any of the full games. I watched like halves, and like whenever I'm watching the defense, you see a lot of no-name players, like guys I don't recognize. But I see Masterson's name a lot. The dude's just flying around.
Yeah, I sat and watched. I sat and watched one full preseason game, and actually it was last Saturday night against the Dolphins. What I had done is I had DVR'd the game, because the show we were doing the show I was doing the show with Joey Sullivan. Yeah. When the game was on, so I DVR'd it, and I sat and I watched the game DVR. But yeah, like you, I've only watched like halves of the games too.
It's really hard to watch a preseason game. Really hard. It doesn't count, and it's a lot of guys that are fighting for second, third string spots. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it can be a snooze fest. And too, when I had my season tickets for the Eagles, I didn't go to too many preseason games.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that was too appealing for me from a preseason game standpoint. The last Eagles preseason game I went to is when the person from Blue Mountain, Matt Stankiewicz, was playing for the Patriots. And that was the last preseason game that I actually went to. A lot of times what I would do is I would just give my preseason tickets away and not use them. But whenever there's a skook trying to make a professional team, regardless of what team it is, we're always watching we're always watching our skook people.
Oh, absolutely. And always rooting them on, no matter who they're playing for. Paul says top free agents next year: Jacobs, Abrams, Mullen, and Rock Ya-Sin, and then Waller in 24. So I think if Waller has a good year, I think we'll sign him in the offseason. I think we'll sign him. I don't see Jacobs back after the season. What do you think, Rob?
It's hard to say. I think Zamir White is going to have he's going to have a hell of a season, and I think you're right. I mean, I think Jacobs could be out of a job, and we might even, as much as I hate to say it, at the trade deadline, he might even be a surprise.
Yeah.
At the deadline
with the right offer and stuff like that. Who knows? It's the way like I've said it a couple times on the show, multiple times through the last few weeks. A lot of teams are going to that running back by committee, and it's all running backs with like different skill sets. You'll have your big bruising back, and you'll have your back that's like a quick and slashy. You'll have your back that catches the ball well. It's not just one guy anymore. So when you have a one guy like that, they kind of don't get signed, or they don't get a lot of money, I should say. They get signed. They usually don't get a whole lot of money like they would have in the past.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I could see that happening. I'm a big Jacobs fan, but then again, I also realize as a fan that it is a business, and
my God, yeah. First and foremost, it's a business.
Teams are going to do what they have to do to win, and it's like this Josh McDaniels regime, understands that,
Yeah.
So.
But so Paul Spencer says, with the rumors Kareem Hunt wants out, trade for Jacobs maybe. What do you think about that, Rob?
I could see that possibly, but I honestly think that Kareem Hunt is gonna end up in Philly, because in Philly you've got the Miles Sanders situation as well. So and there's a lot of talk that in Philly that Miles Sanders might not be back with the Eagles next year.
And Kareem Hunt's been throwing whiffs of his ass towards them for the last couple of weeks. I've been hearing out here. That's all I'm hearing. Hunt.
Right. Well, they had
really putting out the signals.
They had a joint practice, I think, with the Cleveland Browns prior to their preseason game with them, and that speculation is very true. And I mean, they're on that they're on that bandwagon, or that train. Speaking of running backs, we talked about Drake earlier. Where do you possibly see him landing?
To be honest with you, right now, I have no idea. I mean, there's teams out there with running back needs and stuff like that. He's not an every down running back. He's going to be a third down back, or a fill-in guy for a series or two. Paul Spencer says, I'm protesting. Sirianni is tampering. I have pictures. There it is.
Yeah,
NFL, are you listening?
They all tamper in one way, shape, or form. Honestly, I mean, doesn't every team sort of kind of do that nowadays?
Well, a few years ago, it was there was a big stink. Gruden talking to he was a defensive back for Seattle. The long dreads, I can't think of his name. Richard Sherman. Talking to Richard Sherman and stuff like that, and they were calling out tampering and stuff like that, but nothing ever panned out.
Right.
But back to Kenyon Drake. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know honestly where he's probably gonna end up in Kansas City and end up like destroying us or something stupid like that.
Yeah, and I don't really care where he goes. I just don't want him in the AFC West.
No, nowhere near the West.
And even with Leatherwood, I don't want him in another team. In our division either.
Well, to be honest with you, Rob, I'd like to see him in in Los Angeles, the Chargers. I'd like to see him in a Chargers uniform, playing left or right tackle, because I know that's where we're going to get all of our sacks then. Paul Spencer says Drake will be picked up after preseason injuries are definitely gonna go. Yeah, so it's going to happen around the league. Yeah, once those injuries start picking up, and you see who's getting cut, and he'll find a spot easily, I think, especially with the Raiders. I think the Raiders have to pay him. I'm not 100% sure if it's a guaranteed contract, but they owe money.
I think it was a guaranteed contract of 11 million. So, regardless if he plays or not, he's still gonna get paid. Whether it's from the Raiders, whether it's from somebody else, he's still gonna make his dough.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's gonna be fine. He'll be fine.
He's not gonna have to eat his ramen noodles.
No, he'll be good. It's hot. He doesn't have to worry about hot dogs or not like he'll be all right. Or eating his hot dogs on bread or something. He'll be fine. He can buy the hot dog rolls with his bread.
Right.
He'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. He won't have to worry about affording his Miller's hot bologna.
Paul says guaranteed money, $8.5 million Raiders checkbook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking it was a little bit less. For some reason, I thought it was like $5 million, but yeah, $8.5 million. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, so if you want to blame that on Gruden, I'm good with that. You could blame that on Gruden. But Kenyon Drake, I thought he played well for us. I wouldn't blame that on him.
Yeah, I like the guy. It was just disappointing that things didn't pan out for him here, and yeah. I mean, as long as he doesn't go anywhere in the AFC West, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, go east, young man, go east.
Yeah, go somewhere. I don't even care if he goes to Paul Spencer's. Well, actually, from an Eagle standpoint, yes, I do. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I posted something on our Out of the Box page last night. The best thing about the Dallas Cowboys are the cheerleaders. That's the only thing that's really worth watching. Regarding the Dallas Cowboys.
They are the best thing.
Sorry, Paul. I gotta get my digs in.
Eagles, Cowboys. We gotta be careful here. Treading lines here. The boss man will shut us down. Those checks will stop, and that'll be it. We'll be eating hot dogs with bread, Rob.
No, I can do a little better than that. But these so-called checks that you say you get. I don't know. I need to check with payroll and see what's going on with that.
Yeah, call Linda in payroll. Everything was going to be fine. She'll help you out. If not, check out Dottie in HR. She'll square you away. The health plan here is great. The health plan.
So, how do you see our defense and stuff, going into the season? I mean, they had some bright spots, definitely in the preseason. I mean, I think the big woe going into the season for us is the offensive line. It's actually starting to give me nightmares. I mean, I watched some of Leatherwood play last night, and I was like, oh, this is not.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
No,
he looked very, very hot, and it was not pretty.
Yeah.
But our defense is the same thing, just like our offense. I think our defensive line up the middle is going to be questionable. Yeah, it seems like they give up a lot of rushing yards. I said earlier in the show. But I mean, it's one of those things that most of them are newer guys. You let them gel a couple weeks and see how it's a newer system again. So if we can't stop the run, we're going to get killed.
Right. Well, too, and if we can't get the offensive line solidified, I mean, we're not going anywhere this season, and that's just fact, unfortunately, because if Carr doesn't have time to make things happen and materialize, then it's going to be a long season. So hopefully they can get that together, and we'll be watching some wins this season. Definitely, I'm hoping.
Dem 215 boys, they comment, Rob, and what's wrong with those cowboy cheerleaders? Just saying, gotta watch something. Eye candy.
And like I said to the 215 Cowboys last night, not a damn thing.
So back to our defense real quick, Rob. One thing I thought was kind of a bright spot was our takeaways. Again, I mentioned earlier in the show, we had a couple last night and we had a couple throughout the preseason. And it's one of the things that really haunted us throughout the last couple seasons was the lack of takeaways. And last year I thought we did better, but it was still near the bottom of the league. Adam Glenn says the Cowgirls. That's always a good one out here in the Skook, the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a typical back east response in regards to the Eagles Cowboys rivalry, and it's a special type of rivalry just in the Northeast, because you talk to Dallas Cowboys fans out here, it's that are like from Texas and stuff, they're totally like different when it comes to the rivalry. It's they don't trash talk like we do in the Northeast.
Well, that's really surprising. I would have thought that's like a whole United States kind of thing.
I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that too. In fact, there's a woman that I work with. She's a very nice woman, very attractive woman. Her family ended up growing up in Texas. She is a native Las Vegan, AKA a desert rat. That's what they call the
desert rat. I love it.
That's what they call the natives out here. And it's funny because when I first came out here and started working here in the Las Vegas office, you had an Eagles fan, a Giants fan, a Cowboys fan, and a Redskin fan all sitting right next to each other. So
at each other.
Those conversations were priceless. But I was trash talking her about the Cowboys, and she's like, Rob, I don't know what you guys near Philly do, but she goes, we don't do this. But she goes, you know what? She goes, if you want to trash talk Heffy, I got I got game. So we have this thing going on, and she's like, she was like trash talking me like last year, and she's like, oh, come on. She's like, you haven't trash talked me all season, are you feeling all right? But yeah, I mean, definitely, getting back to this team, as a whole. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, this week about the Raiders and, going into the game, against the Chargers on the 11th?
I think we've looked, the primarily backups have been playing, mostly backups. We've looked well. Hopefully our starters are rested, because that's what they've been doing. Like the stuff that that I've been reading about the 7-on-7 stuff versus the Patriots, was super encouraging stuff, and super encouraging stuff. The way Carr was very efficient. He wasn't turning the ball over. He's getting the ball downfield to Devontae Adams. Is just carving up the Patriots defense. Then the Raiders defense, the multiple takeaways that they had in the 7-on-7 against Mac Jones and Belichick's offense I was really surprised. So, hopefully they keep it up, and hopefully, because the one thing I heard over the last couple of days was that I mentioned this also again a couple of shows ago, that it seems like more teams are relying on the practices where they're the 7-versus-7, like the joint practices, almost as like a preseason game, more so than what the preseason game is. Like they're using the preseason game more as to showcase their second, third, fourth string guys, let them audition, for everybody to watch, and then your starters, they're playing against the other starters from the teams and stuff like that in practices, which I think, I'm all for that. If that's going to work for the teams.
I think the joint practices are going to become more and more of a thing. I'm actually in favor of it too. I don't have anything against that, but I did see that the LA Rams had a joint practice with the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Now, and I know we're getting kind of off topic here, but it's just something that I saw and something I was intrigued by. Why would you have a joint practice with a team that that lost the Super Bowl to you?
I didn't understand that either, Rob. To be honest with you, I thought the same exact thing when I heard about everything that went down. I'm like, why the hell are they having a joint practice? They just played the Super Bowl against each other. There's going to be hard ass feelings against each other.
Sure, yeah. I mean, so that's something that I didn't get or understand. I just sat here and I just sat here and shook my head, and even Celeste, she's not really a big football fan, but she's even like, yeah, she's like, they had to know something like that, was gonna happen.
Yeah. Real quick, Paul Spencer says, being a Cowboys fan in the Northeast Philly for 30 plus years makes you thick-skinned, especially living right next to Chicky and Pete's. I've heard it all. Oh my God, yeah.
Paul, and now you're mentioning Chicky and Pete's. I gotta.
Rob is salivating this.
I'm getting hungry. They actually opened one. They actually opened one here in Las Vegas. Pretty recently, within the last year or so. It's actually located in the Sahara. So I have to definitely check that. I have to definitely check that out, and that might actually be an idea for dinner tonight. So thanks, Paul. You gave me an idea for a possible dinner tonight or tomorrow.
Paul's always helping.
Because when it's 100 and some degrees out here, man, you're not in the kitchen cooking. If you can avoid that, yeah, you try to go out to eat. Go out to eat as much as you can.
When I was a kid growing up, Rob, my mom used to say, "What do you guys want for dinner?" We'd be like, "Oh, we want spaghetti. We want the hamburgers, like, it's too hot for that. You're having bologna and cheese. So that's what we would have when it was hot out.
Yeah.
Too hot to cook.
You know what? My mom would always say, you're getting what I make, and you're gonna like it.
I didn't starve, Rob, so I'm good, right?
No, I didn't.
We didn't starve.
I didn't starve either. I mean, look at me. I don't look like I skip many meals. But yeah, if you don't mind, we'll transition a little bit into some Golden Knights hockey. There was a little bit of news here this week, regarding the goaltenders situation. They had a press conference that featured the general manager of the Golden Knights on Thursday, and he was basically saying that the goalies are going to split time this year, which I think is pretty much a given. With any hockey team these days, because you're not expecting your goalie to start the whole season and play every game. So that was something that was brought to the forefront. Thompson and Brisson after the Robin Lehner injury with his hip injury. He's going to be out the whole season from what they're saying, and I don't believe he's had the surgery yet, but apparently he has to have surgery done on both hips, and the way it sounds, there's only one procedure that has to be done, but he's been, I guess, visiting. He was visiting some doctor in Nashville, and they were basically saying that during the press conference that the doctor advised him, to have the surgery now. So it's going to be interesting at the goaltender position for the Vegas Golden Knights, because Brisson is also coming off hip surgery as well, to start the season. And his actual timetable for his return this season isn't really clear as of yet.
It sounds like they're going to have to slog along a little bit, using like a goalie rotation or something. With guys that aren't really established until they can get their regular guy in.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting. Over the last 5 years, I will say this, when the Golden Knights, came into the league and stuff, I have followed them from the very beginning, and I will sit every night that there's a hockey game on, and Celeste and I will watch every Golden Knights game. And there's people all over this town that'll do the same thing. And it's going to be interesting watching these guys try to position these guys to get them back in the playoffs, because last year was the first year in franchise history that they didn't qualify for the playoffs.
That's absolutely amazing. Usually your expansion teams are garbage for like forever. Look at the Jaguars. You know what I mean? They're still garbage in the NFL coming out of the 90s.
Well, yeah, they've been garbage pretty much their whole existence.
They had a couple seasons with Brunell at quarterback, but besides that, and then maybe there's another quarterback, Byron Leftwich. When Leftwich was there, they were okay. They weren't good by any stretch. A couple playoff appearances, but with the way Vegas Golden Knights, man, they came out of it as soon as they were in the league there in the Stanley Cup championship, which is amazing.
Yeah, that definitely was amazing. And then the playoff runs, that they have had, and the people in this city, they expect a winner. When the Golden Knights didn't make the playoffs last year, I sat here and I thought to myself, am I going to see a fan base go into meltdown because they're not used to losing and disappointment? I mean, come on, Kenny, we're Raiders fans. I'm also an Eagles fan, and between the two fan bases, brother, we've seen disappointment in our lives.
I'm a Raiders fan, Mets fan, and we've seen disappointment a
Oh,
lot.
oh
Buddy.
yeah, oh yeah, and too, on the other side of the coin with me and the Phillies, there was a lot of disappointments. There too. I still have nightmares about that '93 team and
Joe Carter is his nightmare. Wake up, Rob.
yeah. And anytime I see that on TV, you probably have a pretty good idea what comes out of my mouth regarding
Joe effing Carter.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So the goaltender position is going to be definitely something to watch here. I think Celeste and I will be sitting on the edge of our seats, watching these Golden Knights games this year, and we'll try to get out to.
Well, Vegas, they're in it right to the end of the season too. They were just they only missed the playoffs by a couple games. So
yeah,
I was following the Kings right along, and them and the Knights were really close to each other all the way up until the end when the Kings got in and the Knights were left out.
Yeah, I honestly wish you could be out here for the Golden Knights home opener, because I believe they are playing the Kings. So that would be an awesome game for would be an awesome game for us to go to. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I'll try to get you out here for a Kings game one time.
One day I will come back out to Vegas. My in-laws are actually coming out to Vegas. I don't know if it's this week or next week. They're coming out for a week or two.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell them to stop by Mayor Rob's crib and check out him and Celeste. He'll make you all sorts of food. And
well, I don't make anything, Ken. The only thing I make is reservations.
He'll show you where Chicky Pizza's in the desert. You guys will be fine.
Oh yeah. Hey, definitely. Skooks are always welcome. If I know somebody's in town, I'll make an effort to try to get together with people. Absolutely.
Is there so back on the Golden Knights real quick? Is there anybody else out there in goalie land that they might look at to possibly pick up, like somebody more established? Like I don't know. Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the problem that they're having is that they're a little up against the cap, so they would have to, they would have to, either make a trade or cut some cap space somehow to bring somebody in that's a little more established. There were rumors about them looking at the and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but there's a pretty good goaltender that plays for I think it's New York Islanders or something. That I had heard. I had heard rumblings about them, bringing somebody like that in, but with them being so up against the cap, I don't know that they're going to be able to do, like anything unless they try and pull off some sort of a blockbuster, trade. I think we're going to be, with these two guys the whole season, and from what the GM and the coach, has said, they're gonna let it ride with these guys and see what they can do. So it doesn't sound like they're bringing anybody else in. Now barring some kind of injury, or if one of them can't, go for any length of time, then maybe. But from what I'm watching and what I'm reading, no, it doesn't sound that way.
Yeah. Maybe there's somebody in their pipeline too, in their minor leagues. Maybe there's somebody that you're not seeing or we're not hearing about. Maybe that they bring up early. I don't know what their minors look like out there.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know, and I'll be completely I'll be completely honest with you. Like, some of these minor league, hockey leagues are like baseball. There's minor leagues, there's minor leagues all over the place. And,
Yeah. Yep.
Like you said on your show the other day, you're just a regular guy. You don't necessarily have time to follow everything, but
Yep.
you are passionate about your team. And that's kind of the same way that I feel about the Vegas Knights. I try to follow this Henderson Silver Knights as best I can. Maybe they do have somebody in their pipeline that are possibly developing. But Logan Thompson, they're expecting big things from him. He had a good showing last year during the season. So it's kind of like a wait and see approach.
Who the hell knows? I mean, things might just work out just fine with who you have, and you don't have to worry about anything,
right?
Or you just score a lot of goals. You know what I mean? Just put big numbers up.
What about your Kings? How are they shaping up? I haven't heard much.
Well, it's pretty much from what I understand, Rob. Like I said before, I don't follow a whole lot of hockey. I just started again at the end of the season. It's pretty much the same exact team as last year. From everything that I've seen, they re-signed their top guy. I don't watch a whole lot of hockey. They re-signed their top guy, and Brown retired. So we all know that Dustin Brown retired. And but yeah, it's pretty much the same team. They have everybody shored up. So I expect big things out of the Kings this year. I expect them to put together a decent run and play, because they played really, really well at the end of the season to get into the playoffs. And then that series against the Oilers, I mean, that was the first. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I watch every year. I watch the playoff hockey. I love playoff hockey. It's like a World Cup soccer. You hate soccer all you want, but you watch World Cup soccer. It's really neat. But playoff hockey, anything goes. Like you don't know who the hell's going to win. Any day. That the 1 seeds are always losing the 8 seeds. But anyway, the Kings against the Oilers, that was an absolutely terrific series. Absolutely terrific. So it's I think they're going to be good this year. I think that, not first place kind of good, but I think they're playoff bound and, somewhere in the middle of the pack. And I expect them to at least advance a little bit.
Right. Definitely. And from a hockey standpoint, I follow the Golden Knights, and then of course I follow the shit show that the Flyers are going to be. Obviously they are a shit show. We don't have to get into that again. Kimberly Blum says, "Sorry guys, at the campground, and the service isn't great. I gave up trying. Kept freezing. See you next week." Well, yeah, it's great that you check in, Kim. It's good that you're enjoying the shows. And when I make a return visit to Pottsville, we'll have to get together with Ken for sure. And
we're gonna get together.
Eat some wings, drink some yings.
Punch some cows.
Well, whatever we need to do.
Adam Glenn said from earlier, are you saying the Raiders will be a wild card? I believe so.
Yeah,
they'll be a wild card.
I could see that, but there again, Adam, it's all going to come back to their being able to solidify the offensive line and some things on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, I would say at this point that I could see the Raiders being a wild card in the AFC, certainly.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then I just have one more Golden Knights topic here. They actually did sign a veteran right winger, Phil Kessel. And this was a relatively cost friendly deal. It was like 1 year, $1.5 million. He's a 34-year-old veteran that's going to provide a veteran presence in the locker room. For some of some of the young guys. He's also been a pretty productive scorer throughout his career. He scored a total of 399 goals and had 557 assists while playing in 1,204 games. So I mean, this guy, has quite the resume, and he also won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2016 and 17 with the Pittsburgh Penguins, or
there you go,
or as I call them, the Schittsburg Penguins.
Oh, no. So who did he play with last, Rob?
He actually played with the Phoenix Coyotes last.
Okay. I heard the name before, and it's probably when he was in Pittsburgh. I know quite a few Pittsburgh fans, so I know I heard that name before. A pretty good player.
Yes, I know quite a few Pittsburgh fans too. Back there, out here in Las Vegas, and I'll tell you, if the lady that I know that's a Pittsburgh fan, if she's watching the show, she probably will not be happy that I referred to Pittsburgh as Schittsburg. But I mean,
easy to rhyme that way, though, Rob. It's so easy. It's there.
But all joking aside, I'm sure you've been to Pittsburgh.
Well, I got a story about that, Rob. I don't know, but I was I was robbed by a homeless man in Pittsburgh. I went out. So story time with Kenny right here. So here's what happened. I was invited to an offensive defensive lineman football camp out at Pitt University. When Walt Harris was coaching there. Remember Walt Harris coaching?
Yeah.
All right. So I never left the big city of Pottsville. Never did. Like besides with family trips and stuff like that, I never out on my own. I'm like 14, 15. I think I was 15 years old. I think I was 15 years old. So I got my bag, my football. I needed my shoulder pads and my helmet. So I had that stuff in a bag. I had my clothes. I was going out there for I think it was 3 or 4 days. So my mom made arrangements for me to meet up with somebody after I got off the bus in Pittsburgh, and they were going to give me a ride to the university. So I get on the bus to Pittsburgh. I get out there. It took forever. So I get out there. The bus terminal was absolutely huge, something I was not expecting. I saw there was a dude with a mohawk, different colored mohawk. Like you don't see that in Pottsville. And so I'm walking through the terminal. The one guy asked if I had any rolling papers. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Rolling papers for marijuana. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. I'm just going here. So I go out and I wait for my ride. My ride never shows up. So I go back in. I get on on one of those. I get on a telephone. I call a payphone. I get on a payphone and I call a cab. I said I need a cab. I'm at this terminal or whatever. So all right, meet us out front. So I go out front. I'm standing. Well, this guy comes up to me. He comes up to me and he starts like rambling. I don't understand a word he's saying. He's talking really fast. He's not making sense. So anyway, he puts his hand out and he had 3 soda bottle caps. And underneath the middle soda bottle cap, he had a little red ball. And so he starts going around. He's like, "Which one is it?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. He goes, "Which one is it?" I said, "I don't want to play." He goes, "You'll win." I said, "All right." So I picked the one on the right. He picked it up. Okay, I won. I'm like, "All right, terrific." So I can see the cab coming around. So he starts rambling on. I pull my money out of my bag because I'm wearing shorts that have no pockets. So I pull my money out of my bag because I'm going to put my stuff in the trunk of the cab. So I got my money in my hand. It was I had $20, and that's it for 4 days. $20,
right?
Because everything else is paid for.
Yeah.
So I just had the $20. And the cabbie pulls up. I start loading my stuff in the trunk. The guy's talking to me. He puts his hand out. He starts, going to all sorts of different places with those soda bottle caps. He goes, "Which one?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to play." He goes, "Which one?" I'm like, "All right," just to get him, away from me. I point at the middle one. I lost. He goes, "You lost." Like, "Oh, okay." Well, then he takes the money out of my hand. I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "You lost." And he starts walking away. I look at the cabbie. The cabbie's like, what's going on? The cabbie's like, "What's going on?" I said, "So the guy just took my money." So he runs over. He gets the guy. He starts talking to him. They're arguing. Well, the guy, the homeless guy, gave him $10 of my 20 back, and that $10 couldn't even cover the cab. But the cabbie said, "Don't worry about it." He goes, "I'll get you there. Just give me what you have." So I ended up giving that cabbie $10. I think it cost, it's like $12 to get to the university. So no tip or anything.
Wow.
And so it was, and there's other parts of the story. This is a family friendly show.
Yeah.
The cab driver was just an enormous man. he was wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers batting helmet, and he told me a dirty story, and that's I don't want to repeat that on here.
Yeah.
But it was something. That was my only time I was in Pittsburgh.
I had a maybe a nicer experience in Pittsburgh, but there's certain aspects of that story that I cannot repeat on here because
it's a family-friendly show.
Well, yeah, we don't know who's gonna watch this. Maybe your kids would watch it, maybe your wife would.
The Pittsburgh police, huh?
Well, that too. It wasn't anything criminal that I did. Well, let's put it this way. That I remember or recollect.
That's your best defense right there. That's your best defense.
I'll tell you the story off air sometime, but let's just say there was a lot of alcohol involved, and yeah, it was not a good situation.
Out of the Box Sports says the FCC is watching. We got to be careful, Rob. We don't want to get fined. They'll cut our paychecks.
Well, bring it on, because I could be the next Howard Stern if I need to
be. So yeah, that was my Pittsburgh story. That's where.
Yeah, I mean, but going out there to watch a game and stuff, it is a nice city. The baseball stadium is very, very nice. I ended up going out for a Phillies Pirates series, 4th of July weekend. And it was a relatively a nice trip. But
I heard that's one of the best stadiums in the league in baseball. In all of baseball, yeah. It's like one of the best top 2 or 3 stadiums in the league.
It is. It's really nice. But the funny thing about it is that the night that we were there were more Phillies fans in the stadium than there were Pirates fans. Honestly, I don't think the place sells out.
No, like if you watch a Pirates game, like the Phillies are actually in Pittsburgh right now. No, they're in Philadelphia, but they're playing the Pirates right now. And whenever you watch a Pirates game in Pittsburgh, it's not sold out. It's there's a lot of empty seats, which is a shame because it is a really nice stadium. They paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah. Now let's transition over into
real quick. Paul Spencer says the outfield view is beautiful. The skyline from home plate. Yeah, it's such a nice looking stadium.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I would make a trip. I would make a trip out there to watch a game in that stadium again. So Paul Spencer, get the house ready. You always tell us we're welcome. So get the house ready.
I'd love to go out there also. I'd love to see a game out there. That's one of the stadiums I want to see before I croak.
Yeah, I mean that definitely it's worth the trip to go out there, and you gotta do stuff, and you gotta enjoy life, because what I've been learning lately over the last couple of years, man, is life is very short, and you only get one go around. So yeah, we need to plan some kind of an out of the box trip where we all get together, we meet up, we go to a game, have a good time, and just have a blast, man. I love doing these shows. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing here. I did have one more topic I wanted to bring up from the Vegas sports scene. The WNBA coach out here, Becky Harmon, she was named the WNBA Coach of the Year. Now, I will give you a little bit of a disclaimer before we start talking about this topic. I probably have not watched WNBA basketball since like 1997 or 1998. So that's going back quite a while, but it is Vegas. It is Vegas sports news. And, this team is on fire right now out here, and it's really taken interest with the Vegas sports fans, with the Vegas sports scene. So I just thought I would mention that.
But they're in the playoffs right now, right, Rob?
Yeah, they actually play tomorrow night. And I'm trying to see who they even play.
While you're looking that up, Paul Spencer says she's awesome. First assistant coach in the NBA, head coach, and waiting for Popovich. Yeah, and an NBA coach in waiting for Popovich. Hopefully, yeah.
Well,
who knows? That'd be awesome to see a female head coach in the NBA. That'd be awesome.
You know what? Absolutely. And another side note with the Las Vegas Aces is they are owned by Mark Davis. So, he has really invested time and resources into making sure that this team is supported and what have you. So, kudos to Mr. Davis, for also, making the Las Vegas Aces, relevant again. Now, if he could only get a decent haircut,
Paul said that they play Seattle Storm tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually the number one seed going into the, going into tomorrow. They had an overall record of 26-10. So, she's done a lot of really great things here with this team. I don't watch it religiously, but I can tell you that, I have started to pay attention to it because it is being talked about. And, here at the Out of the Box Sports Network and on the Vegas sports scene, we do our very best to, try to bring you everything that's going on out here. So, yeah, I haven't really watched it since 97 or 98, but I'm getting back into it again to, bring it to our fans.
Paul says if they win, they play in the finals versus either Chicago or Connecticut.
Right. So I wish her nothing but luck. She has come from a good coaching tree with Greg Popovich there, in San Antonio, and she's gonna go nowhere but up, and it will be interesting to watch to see if she does become a head coach in the NBA. She would definitely be the first. She was the first assistant female head coach. So that could be something that we're going to be watching on the radar here. But I don't know if Mark Davis would let her go either, because he's put some resources into this team, and actually built them a pretty nice practice facility right next to the Raiders facility. So yeah, he's done some good things, since he's been here in Vegas.
And that's that's one of the things. If she would ever get the opportunity to be a head coach in an NBA franchise like San Antonio, I mean, if I'm Mark Davis, yeah, go. How awesome is that? That's not only awesome for her, but I mean, that's awesome for your Las Vegas team. Also, that gets their name out there more. The first female head coach in a major professional men's sports is this lady, and she coached my team. Come coach, coach here and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like about the Davis family, because they've always done things out of the box. They're always looking at ways that they can bring quality people in, break barriers, what have you. So yeah, I'll go on record here on our show and say that Mark Davis is my favorite owner in any sport.
Paul says she makes 1/10 of what the Spurs pay her with the Aces. WNBA doesn't pay any of their players. Also, I was just thinking about that a couple of minutes ago, Paul. I did see an article recently where they're talking about the inequality of pay. between the women's sports and the men's sports, and they brought up the WNBA compared to the NBA. I mean, I believe the women should get paid more, especially like, so not to get to drag it on too much longer here, but like if you look at the women's national soccer team, you know what I mean? Like that's if you look at the women's and the men's, you know, like the women's team is better than the men's team. I mean, if they played each other, it's a different. We're not talking about that. I'm not. Right. But I mean, the women, they should get paid as much as the men in soccer because they're just as good, you know, if not better. They're winning more championships than what the men are winning. The men aren't doing dick. So you look at the WNBA, NBA. I think the hardest part with that is the amount of revenue that comes into the NBA because of their male teams, but they have the money where they could trickle it down to the WNBA more and, you know, and pay their players a little bit more because there's some really good players there. I was watching highlights the other day. I mean, I know Sue Bird is you know, pretty well up there now. She's nearing the end of her career. And, you know, she looked fantastic. I mean, imagine the amount of money that she could have made over the years if they just gave them, you know, a decent raise. They don't have to make, you know, the hundreds of millions of dollars the NBA players do, but you know what I mean? They should be making more, I believe.
Right. And well, not only should they be receiving, you know, equal pay, but like their some of their practice facilities and stuff, you know, aren't as good as what the men have too. And then I was also reading an article because now I've kind of dove into this and kind of doing some research, you know, on this because of the team doing so well. It is kind of a hot topic here, you know, in town, but they don't even charter flights for their teams. They have to fly. They're flying commercial. So there's a lot of things that they could do to definitely improve the you know, conditions for these fine ladies as well. So you know, I don't want to drag it on too much here either.
Out of the Box Sports, check out the Out of the Box Sports live stream fantasy draft on Monday at 9 p.m. on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, the Twitter machine, all that good stuff.
Yes, you're gonna see me draft a team where I'm going to kick Ken's ass and Paul Spencer too.
So I'm going to run down the list of shows here on the Out of the Box Sports Network. We have a whole pile of them. We'll start off with the Fight Club 215 live Tuesday at 10 p.m. Then we every other Wednesday we have the Batcave with myself every other Wednesday 10 a.m. Also on Wednesday at 8 p.m. the College Football Frenzy. If you want to check this out, you like college football. I was listening this past week. Awesome stuff. And again, we were talking about Cowboys earlier, getting comments from Paul and Dem 215 Boys. So check out Dem 215 Boys live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And if you like Philly sports, check out Thursdays at 8 p.m. Big Mike's 4for4 Locker Room Podcast for Eagles, 76ers, Phillies, Flyers talk. And then on Fridays, you want to check out the Big Blue Power Hour for your New York Giants talk. Out of the Box Sports, you know, we're covering everybody here. Then on Saturday mornings, if you like wrestling, AEW, WWE, check out Out of the Ring podcast. I was checking that out this morning. Good stuff. You get back into watching wrestling. And then, of course, Saturday nights, the Vegas sports scene with Rob and myself, Mayor Rob, Vegas Rob, live every Saturday, 8 p.m. All right, I don't know how to get it off now. There we go. So yeah, that's the rundown of our shows there. Oh, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we gotta pay those bills, Kenny.
We gotta pay the bills. My bad here. I'm gonna need a lawyer after this one. Talking to HR. Check out Jay Fine Law and ask for Big Al, aka Big Al, for all your personal injury needs. That's 1-800-HURT-123. 1-800-HURT-123. His offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Again, one more time, that's Jay Fine Law, a.k.a. Big Al, for all your personal injury needs. 1-800-HURT-123, 1-800-HURT-123, 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19103, and tell them the Out of the Box Boys sent you.
All right. Well, that was a great show, and we're out.
We're out of here. Peace.